Good morning students. Myself Deepa Seth and today we are going to discuss structure of atom. As I told you, atom is the smallest unit of matter. Now one thing you must remember, our earlier theories are based on the fact that atom is indivisible. But after the experiments performed by Frank J.J. Thomson, Faraday, Chadwick, it was observed that atom is not smallest particle and it can be subdivided into electron, proton and later on neutron were discovered. So the next question is, where in the atom these particles are situated? What is their arrangement? And one of the leading example is Thomson's plum pudding model, as I have discussed. But his one of students, when performed fast moving alpha particles strike on thin gold foil, what he observed is entirely different what was expected from Thomson plum and pudding model. Actually what he has done, he has taken a radioactive source, from which alpha particles were emitted out, fast moving alpha particles. Now alpha particles are nothing but positively charged helium particles. This is your alpha particle. Now if these fast moving alpha particles were emitted, they will go in all the direction. But if I want them to go in a one plane, I will use lead slit and radiation will go in a one line. There they will strike thin gold foil. Actually gold हमने क्यों लिया है? Because it is malleable and it can be beaten into shape. Another important thing is gold is unreactive, a very inert material. For seeing the result, we used zinc sulfide screen covered with a fluorescent material. What was observed? Most of the alpha particles passed without any deflection. Here flash of light is observed, which is most obvious what we observed from Thomson model. But here certain particles were deflected 60 degree or more than 60 degree, and one among the 20,000 particle rebound back almost 180 degree. Now it raised question on Thomson plum and pudding model. As you can see, if I considered thin gold foil consisting of a single line of gold atoms, then the rays which has strike this, they got undeflected, but which strike on the center, that rebound back, and which was close, that moves or deflected through the 60 degree or 90 degree. How can we explain this? For this, Rutherford said atom consists of a positively small charged body and rest of it is empty, almost empty. And since it is empty, 99.86% of alpha particles pass without deviation. But due to this small positively charged body, which is having most of the mass of atom, when rays deflect, they are directly hit it rebound back. And if it goes close to it undergoes 60-degree or somewhat deflection. As their number is very less, very less, it suggests that volume occupied by this center a positively center body is very small. Till then, neutrons were not discovered, but Rutherford thought that there must be some other particles also present in the nucleus which are neutral and have contribution towards mass. Then, according to his experiment, Rutherford explained the atom that positive charge and most of the mass of the atom is concentrated in the nucleus, which is the reason for 180-degree deflection. Then electrons revolves around nucleus. As I told you, atom is empty from inside, but as atom is neutral, it means if positive charge body is present in the center, electrons are present outside it and they balance the charge. Third thing, volume of atom and volume of nucleus is very much smaller as compared to nucleus. Now, one thing I want to tell you, there was a scientist, Maxwell. According to him, whenever a charged body accelerates, it is going to lose energy continuously. Now, our electron is negatively charged, and if it is negatively charged and revolving around the nucleus, it means it is under acceleration, and if it is under acceleration, should lose energy continuously, and while doing so, it should ultimately fall into the nucleus like this. But we know that our atom is stable, and if we consider electrons as stationary, then it is going to be attracted by electrostatic force of attraction. Therefore, Rutherford cannot explain this thing. And another reason or failure of Rutherford is that it could not explain certain lines which were observed when hydrogen atoms are excited. These two are the main reasons for the failure of Rutherford model. Now, again further scientists tried, and in this line next scientist was Bohr. But before studying Bohr model, because he taken into account other discoveries which were going into his model, and one of it is nature of electromagnetic radiations. Electromagnetic radiations composed, I should say they have dual nature, particle as well as wave. Some of phenomenon like interference, diffraction were explained by wave nature, and black body radiations, photoelectric effect are explained by particle nature. So, first we will study wave nature. Actually, we are studying this topic because what we have observed, these all experiments are concerned with action of radiation with matter. So we should know the nature of electromagnetic radiation, and first we will discuss its wave nature. If we consider it as a wave, then the magnetic field and the electric field which is produced is perpendicular to each other, and they both are mutually perpendicular to the direction of propagation. Like we have three axes of wall, or suppose these are three axes. One is electric field, one is magnetic field, and one is direction of propagation. Now, second thing which we have to consider, they don't require medium. These all rays, light as an electromagnetic radiation, ultra rays, infrared rays, radio waves, gamma rays, they all belong to electromagnetic radiation, and they don't require medium. As you can see, light comes to us and it doesn't require any medium. So if we talk of simple waves like sound waves etc., they require medium. They are transverse waves, but they are electromagnetic radiation. अब हमने जो ये word wave बोला है, it is characterized by certain parameters which you have must come across in 9th or 10th physics. They are wavelength. First, see बेटा, अगर आप एक चीज पे रस्सी बांध के उसको हिलाएंगे तो आप क्या देखेंगे? इट विल गो अपवर्ड डाउनवर्ड अपवर्ड डाउनवर्ड. और आप एक कंकड़ फेंके पानी में तो आपको रेस दिखेंगी, रिपलिंग दिखेगा. तो ये क्या है? इट इज़ अ डेवलपमेंट ऑफ वेव्स. जो रिपलिंग है वो क्या है? प्रोपोगेशन ऑफ वेव. एक्चुअली वाटर डज नॉट ट्रांसफॉर्म, इट इज़ ओनली वेव इज going upward and downward. Here what we see, upward, downward. Now the maximum displacement either towards upward or towards downward is called amplitude. Then what is upward displacement is called crest. Downward displacement is called trough. Now this is one cycle complete, crest and trough. I told you wavelength. The wavelength is denoted by lambda, and it is the distance between two consecutive means लगातार, two consecutive crust or two consecutive troughs. Now next is frequency. But I first discuss what is the unit you will take, since it is the distance. So we will use meter, centimeter, Armstrong etc. as unit. Then we come to frequency. Now frequency is number of waves traveling per unit time. मान लीजिए मैं देखना चाहती हूँ 1 सेकंड्स में इस पॉइंट में कितने वेव्स गए, तो वो क्या हो जाएगा? उसकी फ्रीक्वेंसी. And its unit is second inverse or hertz, H-E-R-T-Z. Then it is represented by nu, Nu, and this is the symbol. Third is wavelength. Sorry, wavelength I have discussed. Next is velocity. Distance traveled by a wave in 1 second is its velocity. Now another one thing which you are going to observe is wave number. Make the correction. It's not wavelength, it is wave number, and it is represented by nu bar. Represented by nu bar. So it is actually number of waves per meter, number of wavelength per meter, reciprocal of wavelength. Unit is centimeter inverse or meter inverse. Now we will discuss the relationship between velocity of light and frequency and wavelength. It is velocity of light equals simply velocity equals to wavelength into frequency. Wavelength into frequency. In case of light we say C, otherwise we used V. V or C. C in case of light. Similarly, we can derive these formulas and let's solve one problem. ये आपको मैंने वेव का डायग्राम दिया है और मैं आपसे पूछ रही हूँ नंबर ऑफ वेव्स कितने हैं. क्रस्ट एंड ट्रफ कंप्लीट हुआ, ये हो गया वन वेव. तो देयर इज 1 2 3 वेव्स. तो हमने वेव्स कितना लिख दिया, 3 वेव्स. नाउ दिस हैज़ बीन ऑब्जर्व्ड इन 1 सेकेंड 3 वेव्स. तो आपकी फ्रीक्वेंसी क्या हो गई, 3 सेकेंड इनवर्स. एंड इफ आई से वेवलेंथ, it is given the distance between two consecutive trough 24 centimeter. तो ये इसका हो गया wavelength. Velocity lambda into nu, it is 3 into 24 and unit will be 72 centimeter per second, that is of velocity. और अगर मैं आपसे बोलूँ वेव नंबर, तो वेव नंबर क्या हो गया, रेसिप्रोकल ऑफ वेवलेंथ 1/24 centimeter inverse. Now I have given you one numerical. यहाँ आपको येलो लाइट जिसका वेवलेंथ है 580 नैनोमीटर, उसके लिए फ्रीक्वेंसी निकालनी है, वेव नंबर निकालना है. एंड वेलोसिटी ऑफ लाइट इज ऑलवेज 3 into 10⁸ मीटर पर सेकेंड. तो आपको नहीं दिया होगा तो यू शुड राइट इट. रेडिएशंस की ये वेलोसिटी आपको याद रहनी चाहिए. सो यू नो द फॉर्मूला. नाउ एज वी वांट टू डिटरमाइन फ्रीक्वेंसी, तो C अपॉन लैम्डा आप सॉल्व करेंगे, यू विल गेट द आंसर. 10 minus 9 will go upward, तो 8 plus 9 17. तो ये आ गया 10 raised to 17. And next is reciprocal of wavelength nu. You will get the answer. Again, next and the last topic which I am going to tell today is electromagnetic spectrum. आपके जितने भी रेडिएशंस हैं उनको अगर हम इंक्रीजिंग या डिक्रीजिंग ऑर्डर ऑफ वेवलेंथ या फ्रीक्वेंसी में अरेंज करें तो वो कहलाएगा हमारा इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक स्पेक्ट्रम. दिस इज लाइक गामा रेज. गामा रेज, एक्स रेज, यूवी, IR, माइक्रोवेव्स, रेडियो वेव्स एंड लॉन्ग रेडियो वेव्स. हियर फ्रीक्वेंसी इज देयर 10 to the power 2, 10 to the power 4. तो ये आपके रेडियो वेव्स की फ्रीक्वेंसी सबसे कम है और आपके वेवलेंथ रेडियो वेव्स की सबसे ज़्यादा है. ये दोनों एक दूसरे के इन्वर्स होते हैं और गामा रेज की फ्रीक्वेंसी सबसे ज़्यादा है और गामा रेज की वेवलेंथ सबसे कम है. दैट्स ऑल फॉर टुडे. थैंक यू.